Welcome back to the Deep Dive. I'm so excited to be continuing our exploration of RhythmSpeak. You know, you're already pretty familiar with how it emerged, but today we're going to try to go even further back and really explore its conception way back in 2016. It's kind of amazing to think about,
Yeah,
how an idea can transform into something so tangible, right?
absolutely. And RhythmSpeak, the conception, the document written by the creator, offers a really fascinating glimpse into that process. I think what really strikes me is how they begin by examining other forms of communication. It's almost as if they were searching for proof that a language like RhythmSpeak could actually exist.
Oh, that's interesting. Like they were laying the groundwork,
Yeah.
showing that language isn't, limited to just words on a page.
Exactly. They draw these parallels with the language of lights. Think of signal fires or the language of symbols like writing or icons. They even explore the language of mathematics and the language of nature.
Okay, the language of nature. That's really intriguing. What kind of insights did the creator have about that?
Well, they highlight how even without spoken words, nature conveys meaning through patterns and changes. You see this in the swaying of trees, the ripples in water, even animal behavior. It's about recognizing those patterns and understanding the message they convey.
It's almost like nature is communicating through its own form of movement and rhythm. Do you think that's how the creator saw it?
Yeah.
Like a pre-existing form of rhythm speak?
It's certainly possible, and
Yes.
this exploration of natural communication leads perfectly into the creator's analysis of sound. They point out something we rarely consider, that sound itself is a peculiar way to express thought.
What do they mean by peculiar? I mean, we use sound for language all the time.
Right, but think about it this way. We're so accustomed to speaking that we forget how complex it actually is. We're taking these abstract thoughts and feelings and translating them into vibrations in the air. Vibrations that someone else then decodes back into meaning.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, the creator is saying that movement is no more or less arbitrary than sound as a means of conveying meaning.
Precisely. And if sound, with all its complexity, can be shaped into language, why not movement? The document emphasizes that dance, for example, has always been a powerful communication tool, expressing emotions and stories through the language of the body.
Now, that's interesting, but wouldn't any form of structured movement like dance choreography qualify as a language then? What makes rhythm speak different?
That's where the creator's inspiration from American Sign Language, or ASL, comes in. ASL demonstrates that even complex ideas can be communicated through structured gestures, which really gave them confidence in RhythmSpeak's potential.
So they saw ASL as a kind of proof of concept, showing that a language built on movement could work. But how did they envision RhythmSpeak going beyond that?
That's where things get really exciting. The document outlines their core vision for RhythmSpeak, a structured, repeatable language utilizing the full body to capture the essence of human motion and convey both meaning and emotion.
So in 2016, RhythmSpeak was more than just a cool idea. It was a detailed vision with the potential to become something truly groundbreaking.
Exactly. It was in this moment that the seeds of a tangible reality were sown. And you have to remember the context of 2016. Think about what was happening in the world back then. Technology was advancing at an incredible pace. Social media was booming, and people were searching for new ways to connect and express themselves.
Okay, so 2016, I remember being glued to my phone back then. Was that kind of hyper-connected world part of what inspired RhythmSpeak?
It definitely played a role. The document emphasizes that RhythmSpeak wasn't meant to replace existing languages, but rather to offer a complementary form of expression. It was about expanding our communicative possibilities in a world that was rapidly changing.
So it's not about replacing language, it's about expanding it. But I'm curious, wouldn't that make it harder to actually say anything concrete? Like, how do you express something specific like, I need to go to the store in RhythmSpeak?
That's a great question. And it gets to the heart of what makes RhythmSpeak so innovative. Remember, the creator was looking to capture the essence of human motion, those movements we already use to convey meaning and emotion. Think about how a shrug can communicate uncertainty, or how a firm nod can express agreement.
I see what you mean. So maybe RhythmSpeak isn't about replacing words entirely, but rather adding another layer of meaning to our communication.
Exactly. And the document highlights another crucial element, the inherent universality of human movement. We all have bodies that move in similar ways, regardless of culture or language.
You mean like how a smile is a smile, no matter where you are in the world?
Precisely. RhythmSpeak taps into that shared human experience, making it potentially accessible to people from all walks of life.
So you're saying it could bridge cultural divides,
Yeah.
allowing people to connect on a deeper level, even if they don't speak the same verbal language. That's pretty amazing.
It really is. And the document really drives this point home, emphasizing that RhythmSpeak isn't just about transmitting information. It's about expressing emotions and telling stories through the language of the body.
It's almost like a universal dance, allowing us to connect and understand each other beyond words. But how did this vision actually start to take shape? How do you go from an idea to a tangible language?
That's where the real work begins, and that's what we'll be diving into in our final part.
Okay, so we're back, and I'm really eager to understand how the creator started turning this incredible vision for RhythmSpeak into a reality.
Well, and here's where it gets really tricky, right? Because anyone can come up with a cool idea, but how do you actually systematize something as fluid and nuanced as human movement? Well, the document suggests. The creator focused on capturing the essence of existing human motion, not necessarily inventing new movements.
So instead of coming up with a whole new set of gestures, they were looking at the way we already move and communicate non-verbally.
Exactly. Think about how we gesture with our hands when we talk, or the subtle shifts in posture that convey our mood. RhythmSpeak takes these inherent human expressions and codifies them, creating a vocabulary of movement.
So the creator was essentially developing a grammar and syntax for the body, a way to structure those movements into a coherent language system. That sounds like a massive undertaking.
Absolutely, and you have to remember, this was 2016. There wasn't a roadmap for this kind of project. The creator was essentially pioneering a whole new field of linguistic study.
That's incredible and inspiring too. It shows how one person's vision can really push the boundaries of what's possible.
It really does. And what's even more remarkable is that the document ends on a note of invitation. You know, it's not just about the creator's journey. It's about inviting others to join in the exploration and development of RhythmSpeak.
So it's not a finished product. It's an ongoing project, something that everyone can contribute to. That makes me think about how language itself is constantly evolving. Maybe RhythmSpeak is just the beginning of a whole new way of communicating.
That's a fascinating thought, and one that the creator seems to encourage. They present RhythmSpeak not as a solution, but as a starting point, a catalyst for reimagining the possibilities of human expression.
This entire deep dive into RhythmSpeak's conception has been truly eye-opening. We've seen how the seeds of this idea were planted, how the creator drew inspiration from existing forms of communication, and how they envisioned a language that could transcend cultural barriers and connect us on a deeper level.
It really speaks to the power of human ingenuity and the endless possibilities of communication.
Absolutely. And as RhythmSpeak continues to evolve, who knows what new forms of expression and connection it might unlock. It's a reminder that innovation can come from the most unexpected places, and that the future of communication is still being written.